What is the emotion code? Well, the emotion code is a technique that I'm certified in that helps me to release trapped emotions in the body. So what does all of that mean? Well, first we need to understand that everything is energy, and emotions are simply energy in motion. And like that suggests, that energy is supposed to move. But being humans like we are, we tend to or have developed this habit over the years of suppressing emotions, trapping them, shutting them down, not processing them. And you can see this example probably pretty easily in your life or a loved one's life, where an emotion, they should really be feeling an emotion such as grief, but instead they're like, oh no, everything's fine. They haven't processed that emotion and they've kind of like shoved it down. You can also see this in the spiritual world where people try to like spiritually bypass, like, oh no, everything's good. Everything's happening for my highest good. And they're not allowing themselves to feel upset. And that's not okay either. So these emotions are really, they're a language, they're a communication tool for us. We receive a lot of information from them. They come up for a reason. And we're supposed to receive that information through the emotion and process it and do whatever we need to do with that information, receive it fully, feel it fully, process it, and release it. Let it go, move on. But we, like I said, we tend to skip over that process. We're like, oh, I don't want to feel this. We're just gonna ignore it. And when you do that, what happens is the body doesn't forget, and it actually traps that emotion and stores it somewhere in your body. And so that energy is sitting somewhere in your body and is trapped and wants to be released. And so this technique allows me to, or anyone can do this. You can as well. I would recommend getting the book. It's called The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Cooper, or Bradley Nelson. Cooper. And it's fantastic. You can teach yourself how to do this as well. I just found it so helpful that I became certified so that I can help others through it as well. And basically what you do is you use this technique to identify a trapped emotion that's ready to be released. And once it's identified, it kind of like bubbles up to the surface of wherever it's trapped in the body. So let's say you have an emotion of grief that's trapped in the heart. Once it's identified, it'll kind of like bubble up to the surface. And if you're super sensitive, you might even feel energy in this area. And then we release it, and we release it through intention. The book teaches to use magnets to magnify the intention. I simply use intention and run my fingers over my meridian line to release the emotion. And I found it to be so profound and helpful in my journey of healing that, like I said, I went and got certified so that I could help others through it. And as I worked with this a little bit more, I've discovered I've basically had my own way of doing it, and my own gifts came through and kind of expanded upon that technique. So that's at the core. It's so helpful because those trapped emotions can cause physical disturbances in the body, pain, emotional like cycles. They can be inherited. So meaning generations before you, someone didn't process an emotion, trapped it, had babies, and passed it on to their children, and so on and so forth. I've not uncommon for me to help others release or clear trapped emotions from many, many generations back, 35 plus generations sometimes, that it keeps passing down, and it will continue to pass down potentially unless someone decides to resolve it. So the work is really profound because it's not only clears from you, but it clears all the way up your line to whoever it originated to. So those souls can receive that healing as well. and then you no longer pass that on down the line. Any future generations won't receive that. So it's really beautiful work that this can do. I have found that I can release emotions from not only trapped, but just stuck. If they're just kind of like feeling stuck with an emotion that might not necessarily be officially like a trapped emotion, but you're like in it right now and you're trying to work through it, I am very good at helping to help you commune with that emotion, understand why is it showing up for you right now, and get some information and knowledge to become more conscious and clear to you so that we can clear it out and you can move on and start feeling better again. So this has been really profound work for me. I love it. And you can, I would recommend that if you are interested in this work, you can either get the book and read about it yourself. You can find the practitioner that aligns with you. So it's important that it feels like an energetic match. If my energy feels good to you, I have an offering for us to work together on my website under Healing Offerings and the Emotion Code. One other thing I'll mention about Emotion Code is that you would read about this on my website, but there's something called a heart wall. And many of us have what's called a heart wall, and it's basically your body has said, ooh, my heart got hurt at one point and I don't want it to get hurt again. I need to protect it. So your unconscious built this wall around your heart. And it's there as a form, it's serving you because it's trying to protect your heart. It doesn't want you to get hurt again. However, it's also preventing you from fully feeling love and from fully giving love. Because you've got this wall up, right? So we want to remove that wall. That's one of the most important things I feel like with this work is by clearing the heart wall. And that heart wall it needs a material to build, and so the unconscious looks around and says, what do we have to work with that's not really being used for anything? And there's a bunch of unnecessary energy in your body called trapped emotions. And so it builds the heart wall of these trapped emotions. And heart walls can be, I've seen, inches deep, and I've also seen them miles deep. So they can be deep or thick, made of different materials. Whatever your unconscious comes up with something that's protective. For example, I've seen someone with a heart wall that was made of nails. Hard as nails, right? And they're like pokey, sticking out. Like nobody's coming in here. And we work to release these trapped emotions one at a time. Anyone can have, on average, the average individual has one trapped emotion per every day of the year. So around 365 trapped emotions. Now, if you've been doing some work, any energetic work or clearing work, you've probably already done some work on this, because there are many ways that you can clear energy in the body. This is just a really palpable, profound method that really works to identify, get at the root of some of these trapped emotions. And if you have one trapped emotion, for example, maybe you have a trapped emotion of unworthiness. And it was inherited. You were born with it. You inherited it from your ancestors. Because you already had that trapped emotion, you attracted more of that same trapped emotion. And so it would not be uncommon to see themes, multiple unworthy trapped emotions. It's kind of like layers of an onion. So when we do any healing work, we're releasing layers, we're moving layers, we're shifting, right? And so that's what we're doing. We're just like carving off some of these layers each time, and you just keep carving off the layers, and you usually feel really good afterwards. There's definitely a shift in energy that happens. Like I said, if you're sensitive to it, you might even feel physically things remove. If you have a pain or ache, let's say you're dealing with some lower back pain or foot pain, you have trouble standing on a certain leg, you can measure your pain before the session as well as after, and it's kind of cool to see how sometimes the pain is totally resolved, because the trapped emotion can either be the cause or contributing to it. Nonetheless, it's certainly going to help any healing process, because it can just be something that's in the way, like a roadblock to your healing journey. And by removing it, you're just helping assist you in a faster, clearer flow to get to that healing state that you're looking for. So I love it. I recommend it to everybody. It has been fantastic and certainly profound in my work. And like I said, I do this a little different than others. I've expanded upon that basic technique, and I use my own gifts and abilities and intuitive knowing and incorporate it with that. So, for example, often in my energetic sessions, I'm noticing that there's a lot of emotions being trapped from a specific area. For example, maybe there's a lot going on being related to the stomach, or that area is your solar plexus chakra. Then I might also intuitively go and do kind of a look at your energy of your solar plexus, and there might be some other things that I can clear out, or perhaps it's just shut all together. We can release or open up those chakras more for you. So I incorporate some other methods with it. And like I said, I can have work with you to shift not only the trapped emotions, but also just ones that are kind of stuck, kind of feeling stuck. I was feeling stuck this last week in this specific energy, and clearing it was really helpful, but in communicating with it and really understanding it. So there's some things that I do that are a little different than others, but I recommend finding someone that you feel really aligned with, that feels good to you, to work with and help you to start feeling better sooner. So, sending you love.